Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jie Shen from Institution of Population Research at復旦University. So first of all, I'd like to thank Professor Wang, Professor Zhang, as well Professor Dai for organizing this forum at such challenging time. And I'm also very glad to have this opportunity to meet Professor Hata, Professor Dai, as well Dr. Peng online this time. Hopefully, we might meet next time face-to-face for the 13th forum. So I'm also very glad to have this opportunity to present my recent research in Shanghai. And the title of my research is Assembling Map Urban Projects Through State-Guided Governance Innovation. The research background of this research is that, as you all know, that map urban projects has actually become the predominant form of delivering urban developments across the world. Such kinds of projects are usually very costly, packaging a range of urban functions, including office and industry parks, commercial areas, housing, and other facilities and amenities into a holistic development. For example, the Canary Wharf in London is usually cited as a very typical case of such projects. Despite there's very hot debates over the economic risks and the actual social impacts of such projects, many scholars regarded these projects as conduits of new forms of urban governance. However, the underlying logic and practices of such projects in different contexts are very different. For example, studies based on North American and Western European cities, you recognize such projects supported by public and private partnership as the examples of emerging neoliberal governance. In Southeast Asia and South Africa, such projects is usually in the hands of very large private companies, leading to the emergence of privatized urbanism. But at the other extreme, state tourism is usually dominant in politics of projects in those Central and Eastern Europe cities. In the case of China, state dominance in urban development has been widely recognized in existing studies. However, when such idea or such notion has almost become a common sense, what remains unclear is exactly how these projects are delivered. This question is very important because the state is by no means a cohesion unit with a singular agenda, but instead a set of networks. In the case of China, the Chinese state has undergone very complex reconfiguration since economic reform. Although the lower level units has been entitled great economic autonomy, the upper level units still retains great fiscal and political power. Under such circumstances, tensions among different state actors are no less intense than elsewhere. So against this background, this study aims to unpack the black box of the state-led urban development in China and to examine the very complex governance mechanisms for delivering mega urban projects in Chinese cities. So the study asked the following questions. First, what are the governments and their agencies involved? Second, what are the institutional innovations and governance dilemmas? And then finally, based on empirical analysis, the study also aims to contribute to the broader understanding of urban politics in China. In terms of theoretical framework, existing literature usually link the prevalence of mega urban projects across the world to the emergence of new forms of governance, i.e. more networked and collaborative interactions among local governments and non-state actors. However, drawing on micro-focus concept, many scholars argue that actually such form of new governance is just created by the state as a new form of municipality. And in these processes, at least 2 processes of governance innovations could be identified. First, the reshaping of governance usually related to managing those beyond the state polities. And second, the governance restructuring usually involves the reorganization of multi-layered governmental relations. With this theoretical framework, we found that Lingang New Town in Shanghai is a very good example for exploring these questions. For the first reason, Lingang is a real mega project. The new town actually covers area of more than 300 square kilometers. And the target resident population by 2035 is 2.5 million. Just to give you an overview of this new town, you can easily know that in the center of the town is a very gigantic artificial lake known as water drop lake, which is surrounded by 5 circular functional zones. The second reason for choosing Lingang is that very different from other new towns in Shanghai, which were up to local district government. Because of its large scale and because of its strategic role for the city, the municipality took direct charge of the project itself. And in the meantime, multiple governments have been involved in this project. In terms of data and methods, qualitative case study methods was adopted. We collected first-hand data through semi-structured interviews with individuals and key persons directly involved in these projects, including government officials, start from government development companies, private developers, and community groups, etc. In the meantime, we also extensively refer to second-hand data, including policy documents, promotional materials, as well as official statistic yearbooks. First of all, I would like to briefly review the administrative change in Lingang to identify those actors and their relationships involved in the project. Actually, the origin of the project should be attributed to a national strategy of the central states to build an international shipping center in China in late 1990s. And with the great support from the central state, Shanghai was allowed to build a deep water port on Yangshan Island, which was actually belonged to Zhejiang province. And as soon as this port project was announced, the municipality of Shanghai immediately decided to develop a port city known as Lingang New Town to support this project and in the meantime to enjoy potential benefits from the development of port economies. Because at that time, the project was located at Nanhui district at that time. In order to avoid formal administrative adjustment, the so-called Lingang New Town Management Committee was established. It is actually a municipal level institute, and all the staff of this institute was sent directly from the municipal bureaus. In the meantime, the development of the new town was undertaken by 2 state corporations. First, Lingang Group, which is a municipal affiliated corporation, was established to responsible for developing the industry area of Lingang. In the meantime, in return for taking its vast land, as well as to get the support from district government, the potential benefits of housing and urban development were given to Nanhui district government. So the district government immediately set up another corporation known as Gangcheng Group to undertake the development of the urban area of Lingang. As you know that both the municipal and the district government focused on industry and urban development of Lingang. The provision of social services and social management were left to local township governments. You can actually the area covers four township governments in this area. However, also in return to their contribution, in the year 2005, the municipal Lingang group helped each township to develop an industry park of their own, so that the townships could also benefit, enjoy some economic benefits from this project. And this industry park were operated by joint ventures between Lingang Group and those township governments. Later, another two, later, another two suburban districts were invited to the project. First in 2006, in order to promote industrial air as a national level development zone, Lingang district was invited to Lingang and set a Minhang branch in this area. And this Minhang branch industry park was operated by joint ventures between Lingang Group and the Minhang district government. And later in 2008, Fengxian district contributed an area of extra 17 square kilometers and established the Fengxian branch. The reason for inviting Fengxian district is to deal with the shortage of land. And in the meantime, this branch is also operated by joint ventures between Lingang Group and Fengxian district. However, things began to change after the annexation of Nanhui by Pudong New area in the year 2009. Very different from Nanhui, which is a very remote and underdeveloped suburban district. Pudong is a national level new area. In the meantime, Pudong district also had very strong economic base. Accordingly, after the annexation, the municipality really hoped that Pudong could help with the development of Lingang with its resources as well as its previous development experiences. However, different from Nanhui, who gave full support to the project, Pudong district government were not optimistic about the potential economic benefits from Lingang development. As a result, during our interviews, all the investors complained that after the annexation, Pudong district government were not willing to giving any provincial policies in Lingang because it thought it was a project of the municipality. As a result, actually, after the annexation, the development of area in Lingang was largely held back as a result. So as you can know that in this project, multiple state agencies have been mobilized and involved to build such a big project. Then the question is, what are the governance mechanisms that coordinate these multiple interests? Based on our study, we could identify at least two governance innovations in Lingang. The first one is the use of market mechanism as very effective governance instruments. And this was operationalized through setting up state-owned corporations. In fact, the government actually invested very little money in such mega projects. This is because in Shanghai, fiscal revenue was rarely used to fund such projects. Instead, those state-owned corporations were responsible for raising funds through market operations. That's why, as many of our interviews commented, that Shanghai government does have very good business acumen. More importantly, market mechanism was also used to mobilize multiple resources and to manage risks. In fact, these state-owned corporations have actually become the cooperation agencies among multiple governments. And the principle of cooperation in Lingang is widely known as 利益共享，风险共担. Literally in English means sharing both market benefits and market risks together. So as a result, the government arrangements has actually went beyond the formal administrative arrangement. For example, the figure to the left indicates the formal administrative boundaries of the 4 township governments in Lingang. But actually, as indicated by the figure to the right, the development of Lingang was actually in the hands of multiple state corporations as well as their joint ventures. In other words, the whole area was actually re-territorialized. The second key institutional innovation is management committee. Actually, Lingang is a project initiated by non-local government, i.e. the municipality. As a result, the delivery requires the articulation of state space. However, in order to get support from local cadres, administrative adjustment was intentionally avoided. Instead, this was materialized through setting up management committees. The management committee is actually not a formal level of government. It does not have power over those district and township governments. Instead, it functions more as an institution for coordinating those multiple interests involved in this project. This was for example, materialized first through those concurrent position system. For example, the vice mayor of Shanghai served as the director of the committee. And then the committee has various deputy posts represented by district government, township government, as well as those state corporations. The management committee was also responsible for holding joint meetings to facilitate specific projects as well as to tackle specific barriers. The committee is also a very useful institution for the municipality to flexibly adjust the responsibility among various governments. Initially, it is a municipal administrative institute. Later, in order to give more responsibility to Pudong district government, it was divided into 2 institutions and later was merged as a municipally owned but district administrative institute. So it's very flexible. However, such new governance arrangements are not without problem. As you may know that actually the whole area was actually divided as territories of multiple governments with very different calculations. Among others, the biggest benefits actually went to the municipalities through industry development. On the other hand, confronting difficulties in attracting investment and the population, those district government could apparently get much less than the municipality. As a result, such territory fragmentation imposes great difficulties for integrating the industry and urban functions in the new town. sorry. Right, so just a brief conclusion. This study of Lingang in Shanghai vividly reviewed how mega projects in China are conducted for a very distinctive governance form of state entrepreneurialism. On the one hand, I think what is very surprising here is that you can know that the city government or the state is not as strong and authoritative as one might expect. The daily management of city went beyond a top-down model. Instead, in the case of Lingang, in order to mobilize resources at multiple levels, governance techniques instead of command orders are widely used. In the meantime, market has been used as a very effective and efficient governance instrument within the state system. In the meantime, in order to avoid formal administrative adjustment, you can know that some new kind of institutional arrangement, i.e. the management committee, was also established. In this sense, we could know that state agencies and multiple governments have been assembled around this project. And it is in this sense that we could understand mega urban projects in China as an assemblage of state power. So that's all for my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Please unmute your mic and you can ask, please.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's a very interesting presentation. As you introduced, the Lingang project is called as national project or state project?
No, I mean the port project is initiated by the central state, and this new town is associated with that project.
Okay, so although this is in this project, the local government or central government played an important role, but the mechanism is still the market mechanism. It's what you.
Sorry, Professor, could you?
I mean, in case of Shanghai's mega project, market or mechanism is still regarded as very important. Market mechanism played a central role in conducting this project.
Yeah, you mean
right?
market? You mean market?
Market, yeah, market mechanism.
Yeah, yes. So it is very representative for Shanghai's urban projects.
Okay, so usually when China or local government promote such kind of bigger project, there is an office called Administrative Office of blah, blah, blah project. So who is in charge of this administration office? Which level?
Do you mean the administrative committee?
Yeah, who is the top of this administrative office? Usually in very large project, the mayor of Shanghai or vice mayor of Shanghai will be the director of the office. How about this case?
Yes, I think the director of the committee is the vice mayor of Shanghai.
Vice mayor of Shanghai.
Yes.
Oh. Actually, this is a very big project. In current Japan, people stop to consider or plan such a very huge project. I think in case of China, many official or institution are good at organizing such a project. So new government, as you say, a new form of governmentality is very important, and such a experience is also helpful for other East Asian country or other, not only limited to East Asia, helpful for other countries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Professor.